Good morning, or good afternoon, I guess, if you're watching this in the afternoon, or good evening if you're watching it in the evening. But anyway, we're going to look at trapezoids, okay? So trapezoids are basically just these little quadrilaterals who have one set of parallel sides. So that means they have one pair, and that's it. So they have some properties of parallelograms, but not a ton. And if you think about trapezoids, they do have a couple little things that you need to know. Okay, the first thing that you need to know is that they have lines that are parallel, and because of that, they have some angles that equal 180 degrees. So like right here and right here equal 180, and this one equal 180. Same thing over here. This one and this one, and this one and this one. So you have 180 degrees in those things, okay? You also need to know that the whole thing equals 360 because it is again a trapezoid. So since it's a trapezoid, it's a quadrilateral, okay? And that means that all their degrees equal 360. Now there's another type of trapezoid, it's called an isosceles trapezoid, and so those things have some properties that we need to look at. So in isosceles trapezoids, you have one pair of legs that are congruent, and you have one pair of parallel sides. Your parallel sides are always called the bases, okay? So that is something that you need to remember. The bases are the ones that are parallel. The other ones are called legs, okay? Inside isosceles trapezoids, the base angles are the same, okay? So that means like T and R are equal, and P and A are equal. Remember that they still have those 180 degrees between the two angles, okay? That are, again, not beside each other. I'm sorry, not on the parallel line. But the ones that are between the parallel lines are equal to 180 degrees, okay? Something that you need to know. The next property that you need to know is that there are indeed diagonals, and these diagonals are going to be the same inside of trapezoids that are isosceles, okay? If you think about this, it makes sense, okay, because they're kind of looking nice and perfect. Now, one thing that you need to know is that they do not bisect each other like in parallelograms, and that's because they don't have two sets of parallel sides. They only have one set, okay? Now, there's one rule that you need to know, and there's a formula for that, and that is to find the midsegment, which is like this over here, this x, okay? When you're looking for x, okay, or looking for the midsegment, you have to use the formula where you add the bases together, base 1 plus base 2, and you divide it by 2, okay? It's pretty simple, but we just need to look at it again here real quick, and we're going to look at it as an example. What you do is you add your bases together. So like over here you would do 13 plus 25, and then you would divide that by 2. What that does is that gives you the midsegment, which is the half basically. It's like the average, okay? And so 13 plus 25 is 38. Divided by 2 is 19. And so that means that x is equal to 19. Now, there are some problems where you'll be given maybe the bases and you'll find the midsegment, but you may also be given the midsegment and you can find the base using the same formula. So you may say, well, which one's the base? Well, those are always the ones that are parallel, and it doesn't matter how you label them, base 1 or base 2, because you're just adding them together. And so that's not going to change anything depending on how you have that. The only other property that we already kind of looked at was that the angles that are beside each other that are in between the parallel lines make 180 degrees. It's important to note that the ones, again, that are not between the parallel lines do not make 180 degrees, okay? But in isosceles trapezoids, they're actually equal. So for like this guy, if I take 180 degrees and I subtract it from 126, that gives me x because they make 180 degrees. So this is 54, and this is 54 because it's isosceles. So that's how you look at isosceles trapezoids. Those are some properties of regular trapezoids, and you know that's just basically all you need to know. Make sure that you know the formula. So the big thing is that isosceles trapezoids have, again, they have equal diagonals, they have equal base angles, and every trapezoid has this midsegment formula.